welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video we are going to look at Paul Heyman books Cody Rhodes vs. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns added to WWE Raw in build-up to major event. Edge leaks the next member to join the Judgment Day. Bloodline member finally reacts to Sasha Banks and Naomi's walkout. First, let's look at Sasha Banks and Naomi keep getting attacked for walking out. WWE Raw commentator Jimmy Smith shared his thoughts on being behind the announce table during the Sasha Banks and Naomi walkout. Banks and Naomi left the arena this week after raising their issues with WWE's creative plans. Before walking out, the two left their WWE Tag Team titles in John Laurinaitis' office. The initial main event, a six-pack challenge for Bianca Belair's Raw Women's Championship, was changed to a singles bout between Becky Lynch and Asuka. On his Unlocking the Cage podcast, Smith explained the difficulties they faced due to the women's tag team champions deciding not to participate in the main event. We sit back down and just a few minutes into the show, hey, big change. It's Asuka versus Becky Lynch. Our whole show format, they all had 6 women tag in there, all of them. As we went through the show, they changed those to Becky Lynch versus Asuka. He said last-minute changes aren't made purposefully as all the graphics, segment, and timings need to be changed on short notice under such circumstances. You don't do that last minute, folks. You don't voluntarily change something huge in the main event. All your graphics have to change. All your segments have to change. All your timing changes. Everything changes. You don't do that, because we felt like it. That does not happen. Wrestling journalist Bill Apter took a dig at Sasha Banks and Naomi for their actions last Monday night. Apter was part of this week's episode of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Top Story, where he opined that their behavior was unprofessional if you're a contract player with that company. It's like being on a movie set where you've accepted the part you're playing and halfway through the filming you like, I don't like this. If you don't change it, I'm leaving. Come on, really. For two professional sports entertainers, this is very unprofessional unless there's something we do not know about that took place. And about being uncomfortable with somebody, maybe somebody said something to them that we do not know about. With backstage reports emerging that Sasha Banks and Naomi won't be released from WWE for not fulfilling their contract requirement, it remains to be seen how things unfold in the coming days. Bloodline member finally reacts to Sasha Banks and Naomi's walkout. Jimmy Uso recently extended his support to Sasha Banks and Naomi via his official Instagram handle, following the duo's controversial Raw walkout. Banks and Naomi walked out of the show on this week's Raw, and WWE was displeased. WWE had to change the main event of Raw following the walkout. It's been a few days since the walkout, and the duo has received major support from the wrestling community. Naomi's husband and fellow WWE superstar Jimmy Uso also reacted to the controversy. He took to his Instagram story section and shared 2 pictures of Banks and Naomi, thus showing his support for them. After Sasha and Naomi walked out of Raw, WWE sent out an official statement reacting to the same. Here's an excerpt from the statement. When Sasha Banks and Naomi arrived at the arena this afternoon, they were informed of their participation in the main event of tonight's Monday Night Raw. During the broadcast, they walked into WWE Head of Talent Relations John Laurinaitis' office with their suitcases in hand, placed their tag team championship belts on his desk, and walked out. There's no concrete news on what the future holds for Banks and Naomi after their walkout on Raw. Recently, a report stated that WWE had removed Banks and Naomi from its upcoming live events. Banks' husband, Mikaze, quickly squashed the rumor. Jimmy and Jey Uso have been getting tons of TV time ever since the two joined Roman Reigns' The Bloodline. Reigns, the Usos, and Paul Heyman helped SmackDown become a must-watch show over the past year. The Usos are currently the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. What do you think of this unfortunate situation? Do you believe more superstars will come out in support of Banks and Naomi after Jimmy Uso? Edge leaks the next member to join the Judgment Day. WWE legend Edge looks to have dropped a big tease on the next member of his faction, the Judgment Day. The rated-R superstar turned heel before WrestleMania 38 at the start of his feud with AJ Styles. At the Show of Shows, Damian Priest helped him win his match against Styles, and the two later revealed an alliance, calling it the Judgment Day. Earlier this month at WrestleMania Backlash, former Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley joined the faction as well. This past week on Monday Night Raw, Edge made it clear that he's looking for more members to join his group and is ready to welcome everyone with open arms who want to take their careers to the next level. Now, he has taken to Instagram to share a picture of former NXT champion Ciampa, and what fans are speculating to be a major hint at the star joining his faction. The Judgment Day has become a huge hit among the WWE universe in a very short time. There's no doubt that under the guidance of a veteran like Edge, stars like Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley could learn a lot. The stable is currently in a feud with Raw superstars AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan. According to Brad Shepard in his Unleashed Patreon, The WWE creative is currently planning to have Balor turn on Styles and join the Judgment Day. The current creative plan calls for Finn Balor to turn on AJ Styles and join Edge's Judgment Day faction. I do not know when that is planned to happen. We will have to wait and see when Balor will end up turning on Styles and join Judgment Day. The idea of Balor and Styles teaming up hit many fans in the feels, but WWE doesn't really cater to that kind of booking very often. It is likely to help out Balor in the long run, said Brad Shepard. Another report from Ringside News has stated that there were plans for former WWE NXT superstar Harland Parker Boudreaux to join the faction before his release from the company last month. Roman Reigns added to WWE Raw in build-up to major event. Undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns is being advertised for the July 25th episode of Raw, scheduled for Madison Square Garden in New York City. According to the latest reports, Reigns signed a new contract with WWE and will now work fewer dates than before. Due to the new deal, WWE stopped advertising Reigns for TV tapings and house shows in July and August. However, he was included in the promotional plans for Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. As far as the July 25th episode of Raw is concerned, which will be the go-home episode for WWE SummerSlam, stars like Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, RK-Bro, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and the Street Profits are also advertised alongside Roman. The match card is yet to be announced. The head of the table may also appear on the July 29th SmackDown episode, the final one before SummerSlam. Roman Reigns appearing on Raw before SummerSlam could mean he'll feud with a top star on the Red brand. Cody Rhodes is a possible opponent for the Tribal Chief at the event. Paul Heyman recently spoke about the potential matchup. During a recent appearance on Wrestling Inside the Ropes, Heyman said the only way Dusty Rhodes' son can fulfill his aim is by facing Roman Reigns. Absolutely. Cody Rhodes is not only someone with an extensive legacy. My God, he's son of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, but he has carved out his own niche. He's achieved his own accomplishments. He went out on his own. He blazed his own trail. He helped create something that completely changed the complexion of the industry. And now he comes back to claim what he feels is his moment, and the only way he's going to be able to live that moment is to step into the ring with the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. It's a story that writes itself, and Cody Rhodes is a magnificent talent who, whether he is or isn't the son of Dusty Rhodes, he's that talented. It'll be interesting to see if the American Nightmare challenges Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship at SummerSlam 2022. Paul Heyman books Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. The special counsel to the head of the table, Paul Heyman, explained why a match between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns would make sense in WWE. Since returning to WWE at WrestleMania last month, the American Nightmare expressed interest in colliding with the Tribal Chief. He said he wants to attain what Roman Reigns holds, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. During a recent appearance on Wrestling Inside the Ropes, Heyman commented on a potential match between the two and whether he'd like to see it. He referred to Rhodes as a box office attraction and said the story writes itself. Many years ago, the special counsel, known as Paulie Dangerous, ran a hardcore wrestling promotion called ECW, or Extreme Championship Wrestling. It housed many popular stars such as the Dudley Boys, Rob Van Dam, and Tommy Dreamer. Vince McMahon purchased the promotion in the early 2000s. On the other hand, the American Nightmare played a major role in forming AEW. He served as an EVP before his departure. During the same interview, Paul Heyman spoke about the similarities between them running a wrestling company when they were dissatisfied with the industry's landscape. I was dissatisfied with the landscape in the industry and I decided to change it myself, and that's what Cody Rhodes did. He was dissatisfied with the landscape of the sports entertainment industry and he went out on his own and along with others. He changed it himself, and he changed it along with the various people that collaborated to create a new landscape in the industry. So yes, there are parallels. A match between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns is one that many fans would like to see in WWE. Both stars haven't crossed paths yet on TV, and it'll be really interesting when they finally do.